Good day and welcome back to another World of Warcraft video. In this video, I kind of just wanted to talk about what you should be doing weekly in World of Warcraft and basically just kind of cover a few ground basics for players who are maybe new or who are kind of just trying to see what they should really be getting up to. So, firstly, this will change over time, especially as patches come out. So it isn't really something set in stone. It's not really something you're going to be able to follow through the entire course of the expansion, but it's just to give you a decent enough metric about what to look out for and where you can kind of maximize a couple things. So the first thing we'll talk about is pretty easy, but basically there are a couple crucial quests you should look at doing every single week if you want to slowly make progress in different areas of the game. So firstly is the Voldraken Accord quest. This quest will be handed out by Therazel every week, and basically this quest is fantastic. It requires you to gain 3000 rep with the various factions in the game. It also requires you to complete a set objective. It's usually either the Siege of Dragonbane Stronghold, it is either a hunt, or it is the cook-off and community feast, and you have to complete that and then you will complete your quest. Then if you come here, you will usually get a different weekly quest. This week it is PvP. Out of all of these quests, most of them will be related to PvP, world quests, completing some mythic dungeons, completing time walking dungeons. Usually I want to say all of these dungeons and all of these quests are ones you should be doing. Possibly the only ones I would skip are PvP, mainly because if you're not a PvP player, PvP is not really an avenue that you want to look for steady progress in. The rest of them are fairly good, offer a decent alternative for item level upgrades, and will entice you to work on certain content for that week. So for example, if it's the Mythic Quest or Mythic Dungeon one, try and focus on working on your Mythic Plus. The next ones that you should be doing are your profession quests. Every week your professions will give you quests. For example, I am a miner and an engineer, and I will receive quests like here, and I will receive quests from here. All of these quests can be completed and they will give you knowledge, which is fantastic and enables you to make some slow progress in each of your specific fields or specialization. Obviously this is quite slow if you're not working on it. It's not really relevant if you're not a crafter, but it is something that is somewhat important. The second weekly quests to keep an eye out for are inside here once I learn how to fly. These quests are somewhat more difficult to get, but can be great. They are PvP related, so again this is kind of a disclaimer in an asterisk, mainly for PvP based players. But should you do these, it's a great way to kind of boost your currency gain and allow you to work towards PvP specific items or upgrading your current PvP sets. The last two final quests in Voldraken that you kind of want to keep an eye out for are going to be one from here, which will be from Rethelshi, which is for Storm Surge. This will give you one Storm Surge token, which pops up under currency, Storm Sigil. These can be used to upgrade Primal Storm gear. And then the other quests will drop from the two kind of NPCs in here, and these will be dungeon quests. So you'll get one from each of them, and these are really good because they give you 250 reputation for each of your factions. So that's really where you want to be looking every single week. Now, in terms of actual content, it's important to understand a couple things. Firstly, the first attempt of every single section of, or every single kind of event, so the Grand Hunt, or the Dragonbane Siege, or the Community Feast, will give you the highest level rewards that you'll get for that week, and a chance at whichever respective mount or item you're trying to farm from there. So you're going to want to do those, as they're going to be a fantastic source of item level, especially if you are gearing alternative characters. Plus also there are great sources of reputation and other great valuable assets that you can use. The second main weekly event you're going to want to keep an eye out for is the World Boss. Not only is the World Boss great for item level should you be able to get a drop from it, but the world boss does provide certain additional benefits. For example, they drop gold and they drop decent reputation as well. So very nice, 389, it's kind of normal level gear, but it's a great easy way to potentially get some, as well as getting yourself some gold and dragon supplies as well. The next one that you're going to want to make sure that you do every week, and you need to take it before you take any other quest, is going to be the Revival Catalyst quest. Now the Revival Catalyst quest is a quest that is very good because it's not only account-wide currency, which is always helpful, but it's a fantastic way for you to kind of work on everything across a lot of characters. The Revival quest, or the Revival Catalyst quest, is very, very, very helpful because of the fact that it allows you to guarantee your 4 set bonus, which is a pretty big power spike for players at any single level. So making sure that you do this is incredibly important for you every week. Now you don't need to come here to accept the quest, you can actually accept the quest outside of the guild vault. Next, we're going to talk about vaults, because that is something that is important, and it's something that you can maximize a little bit as well. So firstly, the number one thing you want to do is you want to diversify your sources of gear. So for example, if you look here, if you press I and go under Mythic Dungeons, you will get the option to click Great Vault Rewards, and under here it will bring up your progress each week on how you are doing in said week in regards to some objectives. And you will see the more you do, the more chance you have of loot. But not all these things are created equally, meaning you don't need to necessarily get far into each to get a drop from any of them. For example, with just one Mythic Plus dungeon, you will guarantee yourself the highest reward you can get per week quite easily. For example, in defeating 2 Vaults of the Incarnate bosses, you will only guarantee yourself 1 piece of gear after 2 bosses, and on Heroic they will only drop a 402 to a 408 piece, whereas clearing just a Mythic 11 will drop you a 402 piece. PvP, again, as I mentioned before, PvP is kind of its own track. If you're a PvP player, you'll be interested in PvP, but it's super important that you look at completing as many objectives as you can. We'll also mention what you can do to upgrade those objectives. What I always suggest to do is I always suggest that you clear at least 2 bosses of the respective difficulty you want to be on. For example, if you are doing normal, try and clear the first 2 bosses, which will be Eranog and then Teros being the easiest ones, or Primal Council. And then on Mythic, what I suggest is that you go and complete at least the first 4. And the reason I suggest completing 4 is fairly easy. 4 also gives you a suitable amount of valor. You will gain around 200 valor per dungeon, so this will allow you to keep ticking over and continue to upgrading your gear, which I think is very important. So to surmise it, basically, to cut a long story short, what should you be doing every week? Well, very, very simple. What you should be doing every week is you should be doing your Basil Reputation quest, your 2 dungeon quests, your profession quest if you're interested in professions. You will take the weekend event quest if you are interested in it. If it is PvP, you can leave that to the side unless you are a PvP player. Make sure you do the Dragonbane Siege at least once, the Grand Maruki Hunt at least once, and the Community Feast at least once. Make sure that you kill the world boss for gold and a bunch of additional other resources, and then finally make sure that you do at least 2 bosses, whichever respective difficulty you have in terms of your rating, and try and do 4 Mythic Plus dungeons. Of course, if you are not into Mythic Plus, you can just focus here, or you can focus on PvP if that is your route to go. But ideally, that's what I do every single week, minimum, to try and maximize my progress. And when I mean maximize, I mean to make steady progress in each of my regions. As you can see, I am at 401 item level, 1775 mythic rating, and I'm 1 boss away from finishing heroic. And this is all I do every week. Otherwise, I just level out or film videos. But guys, thank you very much for watching. I hope you enjoyed the video, and I'll see you guys next time. Bye.